everybody. This is Ryan McClanahan with historythroughcards.com. I hope you're all doing very well today. So, before I begin, the other day I was on with Raul from AIH Sports, and I had a really good time. So, Raul, thank you very much for having me on your show. And for anyone who hasn't gone over to his page, like and subscribe because he's got some really interesting thoughts on the economy and a lot of economic stuff as well as sports. And that's one thing that I really do like about his page. We all could really use a refresher in economics, and I myself try to learn as much as I can about economics and the value of a dollar, uh, particularly when it comes to the hobby. So, anyway, guys, today I really wanted to talk to you about a specific boxing match from 1951 involving Jake LaMotta and Sugar Ray Robinson. And this is actually one of my favorite boxing sets. It's probably one of the last great boxing sets. In fact, the 1951 Topps Ringside. And I actually picked up a bunch of these when I was a kid, and I never really looked back. And to tell you the truth, um, boxing is probably for me one of my favorite sports outside of baseball. And I do a little bit of sparring here and there on a weekly basis. And boxing to me is really kind of relaxing. It's a sport that I grew up with, in fact, and I do have a fondness for the sport. And so, in any event, I really wanted to talk to you guys today about this particular match. Uh, Jake LaMotta is someone who I actually knew and did a couple of pieces of artwork for. I knew him for about maybe 5 years or so. Um, and he passed away when he was about 95, I think, 94, 95, which is really unusual for a boxer. But he's really kind of very unique as well in with the boxing world, probably outside of Rocky Marciano and um, Jack Johnson, in the fact that he's such a well-known person and a figure in boxing and just outside of it too. And I haven't seen. I know I'm a big boxing fan and I haven't seen Raging Bull, but at some point I will get to it. Um, I was just kind of really surprised that I was able to uh, do a couple of pieces of artwork for him while he was alive, and I did get to meet him on several occasions when he was in his early 90s. And so today, in fact, I wanted to dive into an article I found from 1951 in a match that these two guys had. It's, I think, the second match that they had from February 14th, 1951, and it was called the St. Valentine's Day Massacre. Now, both of these guys would actually have 6 matches in total, and LaMotta would actually win one of them versus Sugar Ray Robinson. And so, if you wanted to get into vintage boxing, this is a perfect set. There are a lot of Hall of Famers to go by, and the only problem I think you might have is the Rocky Marciano and the Joe Louis, and there's another card, the Irish Bob Murphy, which is a short print. But I'm going to talk more about this set in the future, and specifically the boxers in it. But for today, I wanted to tell you a little bit about this particular boxing match, and this actually comes from the Des Moines Tribune from Iowa. Some were calling him the new Joe Louis here Wednesday night after Sugar Ray Robinson beat Jake LaMotta to a bloody pulp. Robinson may not be another Joe Louis in terms of having bombs in his both hands or being one of the heavyweight hue, but Sugar Ray was a champion, no doubt about that. Technical KO. He became middleweight champion of the world Wednesday night after pummeling the former title holder into a technical knockout in 2 minutes, 4 seconds of the 13th round. The scrap was scheduled for 15. Robinson also became the first man in ring history to win one championship and lose another all in the same battle. The rhythmic New York Negro has been defeated only once in 124 contests. As his right gloved fist was raised in victory, Robinson automatically relinquished his welterweight crown. He was forced to surrender it under a ruling of the National Boxing Association and also by decision of Eddie Egan, chairman of the New York State Athletic Commission, which operates independently of the NBA. Although Robinson and his manager George Gainford said Wednesday night they considered Sugar Ray a durable champ, a tournament probably will be held to fill the 147-pound vacancy. Return bout. Under the terms of Wednesday night's match, Robinson is required to give LaMotta a return bout, probably in New York next June. However, Truman Gibson, secretary of the sponsoring International Boxing Club, wondered if LaMotta wanted to face the prospect of absorbing another beating from his conqueror. LaMotta remained in unfavorable condition for 2 hours after he walked from the ring under his own power. He was immediately administered oxygen when he reached his dressing room. He was completely exhausted and suffered chills. Dr. H. M. Houston of Illinois Athletic Commission and Jake's own personal physician, Dr. Philip Burdenoy, New York, remained in constant attention until he was able to leave for his downtown hotel quarters with his wife Vicky. The rugged LaMotta never knocked off his feet in 95 contests, regained his dubious honor in losing to Robinson. The Bronx Bull was battered into a state of helplessness, which promoted referee Frank Sincora to step between the men and order Robinson to his corner. Determined. LaMotta, the only man ever to defeat Robinson, never fought more determinedly than he did Wednesday night. For 8 rounds, he actually forced the battle. He bothered the confident Robinson with resounding body blows and jolting lefts to the head, and often forced him to retreat with two-fisted attack. The jolting LaMotta had the spirit to triumph, but did not have the stamina for the 15-round championship rout. He outweighed Robinson 4.5 pounds, scaling 160 at Wednesday's weigh-in. The tide turned in Robinson's favor in the 9th round when Jake began losing his aggressiveness and ability to escape from Robinson's shattering punches. He turned into a little less than a target for the welterweight champion. Jake was virtually helpless all the way through the 12th as Robinson stung him with every blow he could pitch. The contest continued into the 13th, and although the outcome was obvious, the crowd was cheering wildly that LaMotta was still on his feet as Robinson wailed away at him. The attendance gate was $180,619, and the net was $138,939. The attendance exceeded expectation despite television and its estimated 30 million viewers. At attendance was 14,802. LaMotta held the middleweight championship for 2 days, short of 20 months. He won it from the late Marcel Cerdan of France at Detroit, June 16, 1949. He successfully defended it twice. Robinson had ruled the welterweights since December 20th, 1946. Here's another article from the same page. Bloody beaten Jake LaMotta admitted Thursday he ran out of gas, but vowed that next time he'd do it different. You gotta fight all the way against that guy, said ex-champion Jake in his dressing room after losing his middleweight crown to Sugar Ray Robinson at Chicago Stadium Wednesday night. I got him tired, and that was all, he said. Yeah, I ran out of gas. I didn't pace myself. With that guy, you can't pace yourself. I had him until the last 2 rounds. I know I had him. LaMotta, who made a blazing show during the first 10 rounds, was philosophical about his defeat. He blamed the loss on the fact that he got down to the 160-pound limit far too early 3 weeks before the bout. Next time I fight him, he said, I won't get down there until 2 or 3 days before the fight. I got down under 160 pounds too fast. I was down there for 3 weeks. Rematch, he asked. Sure, but I'm not going to think about how it comes out now. We'll talk about it in a couple of days. It won't be the same next time for me, anyhow. Robinson had a different attack. A 3.5-1 favorite, Sugar Ray had his troubles in the early rounds, but then he came out on to win. So there was no turning point in the brawl from his viewpoint. I never thought I had him, he said. I just kept hitting him. It was another fight. I wasn't clowning when he had me there, hitting at me in the 10th, but I got out of it, and then I got him. Robinson was pushed into the corner in the 10th, and it looked like he might take the first knockout of his lengthy career, but he railed against LaMotta. But he rallied as LaMotta slumped, and that was the beginning of LaMotta's end. So, guys, thank you very much for stopping by. I really appreciate it. And like and subscribe. And again, this is a really great set. These are really nice cards, and I think you guys would have a fun time trying to track them down. They're not particularly difficult to find, though they may be a little expensive. In fact, I think the Sugar Ray Robinson might be a little bit more expensive than the Jake LaMotta. However, Jake LaMotta uh, is again very well known. And the other thing too I've kind of noticed with these cards is the centering is not good in this set. And also, this is the first set that has full lithography, and I think it's from the Zabel Brothers printing from Topps. And I have seen a lot of what they call snow in this set, and that also may be a big drawback if you guys are trying to find decent cards. But they are out there, and this is a beautiful set, like I said. So I will be talking more about it in the future. Again, guys, thank you very much for stopping by. I really appreciate it. And like and subscribe. And also, if you guys have anything to add about this set or this match, I would love to hear it. I always like to hear what you guys have to say in the comments below. So, bye, guys. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.